Howdy lads, welcome back to another Gates of Hell Ostfront guide. This time we'll be doing Dynamic Conquest for Beginners 2024 version. So I have done one of these before, but it is very outdated, so I figured I'd do another one. Anything to make the game easier for newer players to get around is always good. So been a minute since anything like this has been chucked up on YouTube, so I figured I'd throw something up, help people get into the game more. What I'll do is I'll talk through the setup, exactly what everything means, and then we'll get into an actual game ourselves. So we'll set up an army. I'll do the first offensive mission so that you guys can have a look at what I do and maybe, take some things from that. But it should be good. Let's get into it. So this is the menu screen. This is what you'll get into once you've actually entered the game. You'll go single player, conquest, dynamic campaign, create conquest, and then you get this little menu here. So name, obviously whatever you want to call the save. So let's call it campaign 1. And I screwed that up and accidentally pressed the caps lock, my bad. Campaign 1. Now faction, you can be one of 4 factions. Germany, the USSR, Finland, or the USA. One thing to note, you'll only be able to play as the USA if you have the Liberation DLC, and Finland if you have the Talvisoda DLC. So if you've only got the base game, you'll only be able to play USSR and Germany. So yeah, remember that. Then you got region here. So Eastern Europe, if I only want to fight on Eastern Europe. This is Eastern Europe plus the Finnish maps, which is still kind of Eastern Europe anyway. And then you've got Western Europe, which is Liberation map. And you'll see down here it actually changed enemy nation to USA because obviously they only fought the US on the Western Front. So if you click this, it goes back to USSR and you can't go to USA. That'll depend on who you're fighting. So if you are, let's say, USSR, you can either fight Germany on the Eastern Front or Finland on the Eastern Front plus Talvisoda maps. So, oh no, you can actually verse Germany with that as well. There you go. So that's just opting to verse them on the Finnish maps as well. But Finland only get to fight Russia. So it can be a bit of a boring dynamic campaign once you've done it once. Some of the US, I guess, but the new maps are really awesome. But for the sake of this, we'll go Germany, USA, because that's probably the most popular one to play at the minute. Then you got difficulty. So difficulty is just how hard you want the game to be. It more so is how much units do you want thrown at you. The AI doesn't actually get better, I don't think. They just get more units and more points to play with. But I suggest going normal for your first dynamic campaign. I will do what I would do as a new player. So I won't go hardcore. But if you do want to see hardcore runs, I've got plenty of dynamic campaign playthroughs. I've got an infantry only one as Germany. I've recently done a US one. So yeah, you can watch those if you want to see hardcore. But difficulty were normal. Economy, so this is just how many points, like research points you get, how much points you get for selling stuff, basically just your finances. So as a newer player, I would go very high. That way you get a fair bit of resources to play with. If you want to make it hard for yourself, go low. But on low, if you lose a couple of games early, it can actually screw you because you won't have enough points to actually build up an army strong enough to, I guess, fight later on in the campaign. So be wary going low. So as a new player, I'd go high, so that's what we'll do. And then campaign size, small is about, 10 to 12 missions. Medium, I don't know, I haven't played. Large is closer to 20, and very large is closer to 30. You can also do unlimited, but if you don't have an awesome computer, once you get further, into the late 20s of these dynamic campaigns, it can actually start to hurt your computer a little because there's so many units on the field, it makes everything a bit laggy. I found anyway. So that's something to watch out for if you go unlimited. Eventually, there'll be just too much units on the field. But majority of people get tired before they even finish a large or extra large. So I'd go small to start. It's about 10 to 12 missions, so we'll do that. And then advanced, so this is a fog of war. So you can turn this off, which means I can see units all over the map. I know where the enemy's coming from, everything that's happening. Make it super easy for myself. For your first playthrough, feel free to do that, but I think it's a bit cheesy, so I keep Fog of War on. That way, it's kind of more realistic. You don't know what's coming, etc. So we'll do that. So once you've done that, you'll continue. So now, it'll be loading into the actual menu to set up your army. So here we are. Operation Day 1. So that's how many days it's been. Army strength 0, so we haven't actually got anything in our army yet. Battles won, battles lost. Reinforcements, so these are your reinforce points, 1200 here, as you can see. This one would cost us 60 reinforce points for the officer, This Sishrung squad here would cost us 74. Another thing to note, see over here where my mouse is, there's a little helmet symbol with 60. That's how many units of these I can actually fit in here. So this is worth 18 of these little helmets. So that means if I put him in there, it'll take 18 of these. So that's how you fit stuff into there. So I'll get more into it in a second. What we'll do is we'll go, the very first thing you should do is research tree. So research trees here. Call-in stage 2 is free. It doesn't cost any research points. You can see how much they cost here with a little research symbol. You've also got how many research points you've got down here. So I've got 10 to play with. So call-in stage 2, we'll do that. Then to make it easier for yourself, go for a tank early. If you want to make it harder once you're a bit more experienced, obviously do that. But you can cheese the game a little bit and just rush tanks, and then you won't have any issues. So I would go for at least this tank for your first run if you're Germany. Purely because the front of this tank can actually take AT rifle rounds basically to the face, yeah. So you can take AT rifle rounds to the front of this tank, whereas the others can't. So you can't just kind of roll up to a point and decimate the enemy. A lot of newer players will struggle to kind of implement the tactics needed to take points without copping massive losses. So having a tank like this, you can just roll up and you don't have to stress too much about AT rifles and stuff is very important, I think, as a newer player. So yeah, go for that. Then I like to go for a decent infantry squad. So you can go for a pioneer squad. They have a bit of everything. They're quite awesome. They have a flamethrower. I usually go for the rifle squad first and make my way to Fallschirmjägers. I think they're the best. Again, I do have a guide for Dynamic Campaign German Infantry. So if you want to have a look at that and see what units I'd recommend, what's the best, feel free to have a gander. It's in my guides playlist. Go have a look. But I'd go for the rifle squad just so you got decent riflemen. Then field engine is good for defense. You don't need to worry about it early on, I don't think. This is free, so we will grab that. Then you can actually push for call-in stage 3 if you want. Small defenses is important for your first defense, so make sure you're getting that. They put different units around the map, like AI units, so you can kind of get a bit of vision around the map. They also put emplacements down when you get to medium, and then more at large, so they can actually help you hold the line if you feel like you need it. I usually go just for small defenses 1, just so you get the extra vision. You also get sandbags at the points, which will kind of show you the general direction the enemy will come, which can be very handy. I will show you about that if we do a defense at the end. Or if you look at my playthroughs, you'll actually see me doing that anyway. But because we got so many points, what we'll do is we'll get LEIG, sorry. Make sure you're getting that as well. This little piece is my favorite little weapon of the German army. This LEIG, it is elite. Awesome weapon. So I recommend grabbing that first up. And other than that, maybe we will grab the Panzer III. We'll just go for a Panzer III because we can. So obviously I've got a lot of points because we did easy economy, or the highest economy, which is good for us. So we'll research those. Happy days. So now you will see that we have all these extra unlocked units in here. So what we'll do is we will grab our Panzer III. And you see it took some points here. So the Panzer III costs 350 of these reinforced points. So now we only have 850 left. They cost 30 of these little helmets, whatever you want to call them. So when I put it in here, it actually takes 30 away. So now we've only got half the amount of room left in this. As you go up, you get more. So this will have 80, 100, 110, 120, however it goes. Can't exactly remember. But put him in there because there's a little bit more room. Obviously, we need some infantry cover. So we'll get a couple of rifle squads. They cost 119 each. So you can see it's taken from there. Now we have 50 more helmet points. I don't know what you want to call them in this little deploy unit spot here. So we put him in. We've got 30 left and 10 left. So that'll be basically our first call in, essentially. What I also like to do is add a medic detachment in there. That way you can revive your men when they go down. Very important when you're playing on hardcore. Then for the start, we'll chuck an AT detachment in there as well. It's good to just fill it out. Obviously at the start you don't get a lot of points to work with, so be careful with it, but I like to just kind of fill it out. Usually I would also put a officer in there because they're worth 2 of those just to fill it to 80, but we won't do that yet. Now for this call-in, what we'll do is we'll get ourselves a little pack gun and perhaps another squad. So we've got a fair bit. I'll chuck the officer in there. Why not? We'll fill it out. But we've got plenty of units to deal with the first mission, I think. What you'll see is this dismiss thing. So that just means if you want to sell it, I obviously wouldn't because I've just bought it. It's a bit silly. But when you capture enemy equipment, you'll actually have the option to dismiss it. You can just grab them and drag them over like that and they'll disappear. Likewise, you can just do that and it'll go out. So you've got battle location, so Mulchback. This just shows you a picture of the place you'll be fighting. It's just a little snapshot, nothing too drastic. But if you go to select mission, on the bigger campaigns, you'll have 3 options to pick from. Obviously, there's a small campaign, so only get 1. But as you can see, it's worth some extra research points because it's got the little research glass. Click on it, I get 300 of those little reinforced points, 100 ammo. Ammo is important and it's a 1-star risk. We want to get to here. That's our goal. So you'll attack, win that, and then you'll defend. You might not defend exactly where you attacked. The maps will be different. It's a little bit silly. I know they need to flesh out Dynamic Campaign a bit more, but is what it is. But once you've attacked this successfully, you'll defend, then you'll attack again. You'll be trying to take one of these areas. If you lose, obviously, you'll be trying to attack that position again. We'll confirm that. Now, as you see here, it's gone to start. If you just click on this here, this little bar with the red and blue, it'll let you pick another map again. So when you're playing large, you'll have options to pick from, but it won't actually let you go back into this to have a look at what map and change it. So there's a little trick for you. Just click on that and you can click on one of the other map, go confirm, and then you can actually look at the battle location, a little change, etc. So I hope that makes sense for you. As you can see here, we've got 1200 ammo as well. As we fight, we obviously expend ammo. So that's how much we have to resupply our units after the fight. So you can run out if you start going for all the heavy artillery and absolutely slamming the enemy defenses over and over all mission for an hour, let's say. You come back here, you haven't, grabbed any enemy equipment, anything, you've lost a whole bunch of units, you're going to struggle to keep refilling your ammunition. So something to be aware of. But that's the menu. Let's get into a game and have a look at how I go about it. Hopefully you guys are, somewhat getting something from this, but I think the best part of this video will be the actual mission itself. So let's get into it. I will catch you lads in game. Alrighty, so we're back into it, lads. So some of you with average computers like mine, I have just a little gaming PC, might find that it gets a bit slow and laggy at the start. So something you can do is just pause it, bounce around the map, make sure it gets all the waiting for servers out the way and all the lag. And once you've done that for a couple minutes, yes, a little tedious, but you'll find that, the performance will be a lot better. It won't be lagging for the first few minutes of the game, but we will continue. So, well, I guess the first thing you want to do once all that's sorted is pause it and have a look at what you're dealing with. So we've got Objective C here. It's a bit laggy still. So Objective C here, as you can see, this is one of the first positions we'll be assaulting. And then over here on the mini-map, we've got Objective B. Right in the town here. It looks like an awesome spot to push. So what you can do with the mini-map is you can actually enlarge it if you want using these little things here. You can make it smaller. If you press this little icon, it'll give you mini-map options. So you can do size, transparency. You can enable buttons there. Show traces, which is like your machine gun traces and stuff on here. Compass icons, all that jazz. So you can play with that how you want. Game menu, which you can also just press escape. You've got this one, which is message history when you get messages. Highlighted silhouettes, so that toggle highlighting of unit. I think that's so you can see it, like if the unit's half kind of hidden by this, you'd go hover over the unit and you'll see the outline. I believe that's for that. You've got the highlight items, which if there's guns on the ground, you press this, it'll show them all. And then you've got the highlight corpses, which will show all the dead bodies. Over here, you've got the scoreboard. So when you're playing PvP, it's probably more important. But over here, the score table on the right, you can see your kills, losses, vehicle kills, etc. All the lag if you want to look at that. Victory points. You've got this message history, so you can message. So if you go down here to the right, you can actually click that and go to your team if you're playing PvP or to all. And you write, enter. Then when I go to message history, it'll show that. And then you've got this, which is event history. So all the deaths, everything that's been killed, etc. So there's that. You've got the timer up here. You've got the score points. So they need to get to 1,000. So they need to hold these and get to 1,000. Whereas we need to take these. We don't need to get to 1,000. We just need to take both of them before they get to 1,000. So whereas when we're on the defense, it's the other way around. We've got to hold to 1,000. They just have to take them. As you can see, the arrows here, this is where they'll be coming from. So that's where the reinforcers will come from. You will notice when you're playing, sometimes an arrow will come from the north, sometimes it'll come from the southwest. They will flank you. They generally won't come from behind you, but it can happen, so be aware of that. So we'll unpause it and we will get out our main attack force. So that would be the second one because they had more room, if you remember. Now, your attack will generally be focused around tanks. One thing to note with a few of them is you'll have the commander just having his little head out there. Very easy to be killed. It reduces the effectiveness of your tank. Press this little button down here and it will plop him back in there. You've got ammo switching, so you can lock it to AP so he won't change to HE and go for infantry, which can be very handy. Or you can just have ammo switching. Press spacebar, you can switch between all the rounds, HE, armor piercing, etc. Got firing mode, so fire at will. He'll fire at everything and anything. You can click it and you'll get hold fire or return fire, which means he'll return fire if someone's shooting at him. Got hold position, which you click it and they'll hold their position. Move at will, so they'll move around and fight enemies. Engine on and off. Special options, which you can self-destruct your vehicle. You can also just press double L. Examine or X, so you can look at what's in crates or in vehicles, etc. So if I do him and hold X, and left click, he'll come over here and actually look at what he's got in there. Vehicles will have little things in them, so this has got some satchels. Some will have AA, anti-tank rifles. Some will have bazookas. Then you've got item options. So he's got repair tool. So you can do Shift R or you can just repair. So you'll click that and then click on that if it needs to be repaired. That's a left click. You've got F8 heal, which you've also got down here. Take, so you can pick up weapons, bodies, anything. It's quite cool. And drop. You've also got attack options. So throw smoke grenades this way or normal grenades. I can melee attack, but you generally won't do that. But you've got suppression fire. So if I do that, it'll start suppressing that way. Then you've got attack ground, which means like for your artillery, what you can do is you can do attack ground and then you can go out here and have them attack this ground. It's red because obviously the medic can't attack that far, but your artillery will be able to. So you don't actually have to be able to see. You just go attack ground, hit there, and your artillery will start shelling there. Alternatively, you've got attack, which means, so with this medic, he can't actually reach over here. So if I press attack and go like that, let's pause, sorry. If I go attack and do that, he'll actually make his way to there and attack that position. All right, you've got rotate, which you can also just press R and he'll just face that way. So if I grab this and go R that way, which is just rotate, he'll face that way. Got unload crew, so press that, they'll all jump out. Then you got cancel, which is also F. So I can do that. Let's just put them back into their tank. Now, another thing I like to do. So actually, I'll show you this little nifty trick first. What you can actually do is if you go to attack, if you go E, you can press T, and that'll change how you're controlling them. So you've got this mode, or you've got third person mode. Third person mode is awesome for, you know, assaulting positions and stuff. It just kind of makes it look really cool. Generally, this mode is better because you can throw your grenades and stuff, and you can obviously see what's going on around you. But if you press 1 and go for your binoculars, so as you can see, 1, 2, 3, that's just 1, 2, 3 on your keyboard to swap weapons. Now I can go attack ground, and he'll actually be able to see a bit more with his binoculars. So I can do that. Let's get him up here a bit more so you can see a bit better. Yeah, you can see this big circle. That's his binoculars. So if I direct control him, I can actually plot around, see what's going on here. Obviously, he's blocked sometimes by trees and such, but you get the gist. That looks like a giant penis. So we'll leave him there. But there you go. Something you can do. Another thing you can do is if you click on this unit, it's going back in this hole. If you press Shift 1, that is now assigned to 1. So I know exactly where it is at all times. Well, I don't need to know where it is at all times, sorry. I could be fighting over here doing whatever, and so let's click him. We're doing whatever. If I just press 1, I've automatically got my tank ready to go. Something to take note of. Looks like he's actually shooting at something. Don't know what. Let's get this out as well, just so we've got the anti-tank gun. But I don't know what he's doing. I also like to separate a fire support squad, so I'll take the MG, the MG assistant, and the MG ammo bearer, and I'll pull them over here, make them a little firing support unit. So that way I can push with this squad and I can have these guys on the side just kind of covering. So you kind of want to use combined arms warfare as well. I forgot to bring the LEIG, which is a bit silly of me. Usually I'll have that too, but you want to push the tank up with infantry. The tanks are useless in this game without infantry. They will get killed almost instantly. So make sure you're using lots of infantry support with your tanks. Keep them very close by. Don't rush these up by themselves. Easy way to get them killed. So what we'll do is we'll bring this over here. And we'll bring it down. Keep moving him forward. So you just want to kind of keep moving like so. It is better sometimes to grab just one unit and send him up, put him on return fire, so that he doesn't just shoot at anything, and just sneak him up. That way you kind of get eyes on what's going on. So we'll get him to sneak in over here, lie him down. That way I get a bit of a view of what's going on. You also want to cover your flanks, so I'm going to send this guy up here. And he is basically there just to make sure I don't get flanked on the south there. I've also got this fire support squad that I've kind of pushed a little bit further north. That is also so I don't get flanked. So we're going to keep a medic up here with the main push. And I'm going to send another rifleman on return fire out here. Somewhere where he can hide in a bush. Where's the bush he can hide in? Can't find one. You can just go out here and lie down then. But yeah, you want to keep covering your flanks because they will push you. When you do get artillery, I like to set up a little artillery battery. The enemy will push you with tanks into your spawn, so just be aware of that. It will happen. But we'll keep on keeping on, so I'm going to bring this down here with my main push. I'm going to bring these guys up. So we know there's not too much at the front of this point. So I'll keep creeping him up. Keep getting plenty of vision. You know there's a guy there. There's a guy there, so you want to send someone up first to get an eye on things, because one AT gun sitting here, kill my tank, and if I don't know it's there and it gets its first shot off and destroys my tank, it's a lot harder to push. Obviously, it'd be very impossible for me to push almost, because all of a sudden all I've got is infantry, I've got no supporting pieces, no artillery, all I can do is throw smoke and push. Can still probably pull it off on easier difficulties, but as you get further along in hardcore difficulty, you will notice that you need every piece of equipment you can get. But we'll keep pushing these guys up. Can't see any emplacements yet. You won't see too many emplacements early on, in fairness. So let's keep moving these guys up. Let's push this over to support. He'll be able to get some shots on there. Exactly what we want. This fire support squad, we're going to move over into this side of the further east. So this is what you want to do, just nice and slow, plod along, support all your units, keep an eye on things everywhere. I will put him on return fire too. We'll bring him up here. I've got eyes everywhere, I know what's coming. Got this anti-tank gun set up at my spawn just to support in case any armor pushes. I might actually sit him up here. And I might get this unit, just chuck them out there, just so they can see everything. We'll chuck it here actually. That'll do. So you just don't want to rush. If you rush too fast, you'll get killed. Another thing you want to do is, you can see F8 here. I've actually got it key binded to my mouse. Same with grenades and smoke grenades and anti-tank grenades. So I'll keep tapping F8 just to have them healing. That way they're always at full strength. Very important for PvP, for those of you who play PvP as well. But we're going to send him in. Keep him moving. Yeah, heal up. Do what you got to do. Now, because we have the forces, what I will do is I'm going to send this unit. I'm going to join them together. I'm going to mark them as shift 2, so these are number 2. So what you can do is you can actually hover over and join units together. I want to give them a medic. I can't because there's not enough room. If I get rid of this dude, chuck him up there, I will be able to. Bang, awesome. Another thing you can do with your medics, so the medics, engineers, they all have their own little abilities. With the medic, you can actually build a little, so you get this little shovel. Engineers will get it too. They can build, you know, barriers, barbed wire, tank ditches, etc. The heavy engineers can build like field guns and that. These guys have a medical rally point. So all that does is puts a little point where there's basically a stupid amount of bandages, and you can keep running your units through it, and they will resupply your bandage, like their bandages, so you can keep healing. Very awesome on defense. You sit them behind a trench, and your units will not run out of bandages. So it is a handy little tool. We're gonna bring these guys out here. I'm gonna assault from the south. So get them up there. Push him up. I'm gonna move these guys down here. Alright, we can see a whole lot more infantry coming, so they've just reinforced their point. So all we do is we sit back and we just let the tank do its thing. No need to rush, as I said, just keep plodding along. Line them down. I want to push these up onto the road. So these guys are moving, happy days. Move them in. On hardcore, you will have to play slower again. I could, obviously being normal, just throw people in and cop heavy losses, but I don't like to play like that. I like to try and save every man, and I feel like many people that play conquest play the same as me. They like to try and save everyone and play semi-realistically, so I'll put him at fire at will so we can actually get shots off. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to play as if I would play normally, trying to protect everyone, trying to, I guess, implement some sort of tactics. So we now have our units ready to flank, so we're going to push them on. Push in, lads. Big guy here, we're going to fire on him and take him out. Happy days. Let's get these guys pushing in. Healing up everyone we can. I've still got a medic back here somewhere. So he's built his little thing. I'll keep the rifleman with him. And we'll move up. These guys are now getting shots. Happy days. I'm going to push this along and I'm going to get it over here. Actually, I probably don't need to. I might actually push that up through here. Move this up. Get it facing this way with the R. So again, that's R to get it to rotate the way you want. And we're going to push these guys on. We're going to assault the position. These guys are holding the line here, which is nice. I'm going to move these guys out more, like there. This guy I will bring out over here, I reckon. Just for the eyes, that's all. So now we just sit back, let it go. If you press V, you can see all the units, all the dead units, so you can, you know, hover over them. Let's say I want this automatic rifle dude. So I click on him, and I can grab his grenades using right click. Let's grab these bar rounds. And these, we'll grab the shovel so we can build a foxhole. And if you hold C, oh, they're Garand rounds, my bad. So where is the bar? No idea, but he's just grabbed the M1 Garand. So I thought there was a bar there, but now I've got M1 Garand. I can use that. Bit of a crappy example because the M1 Garand sucks. But, oh, bar, here we go. Let's say I want this. Over here. The ammo grenade doesn't suck, I just don't have the ammo for it. But let's get rid of this. I don't want that, and I want the bar. I now have a unit that can provide fire support. That was just a rifleman moments ago, so it's always good to, especially at the end of missions, when like, you know, offense and defense missions, when you have a second, just fill all the bandages of you guys, get better weapons, AT weapons, etc. Another thing you should be doing is keybinding your mouse. So what I can do is I just tap my mouse a few times and he'll throw a bunch of grenades over there. Another thing to take note, if you're direct controlling, you can actually throw it further and you can actually cook it. So if you cook 2 ticks, then throw it, it'll explode as it lands and you get an easy kill like that. So another little tip to take note of. Sit him here, let's move these boys up. So these boys are now on defense. So we'll leave them. What we'll do is we're going to bring the tank over. Get our fire support squad out here. Just watching, make sure no one comes at us. So there is something there. Ooh, that's an anti-tank gun, so we want to deal with that very quickly. That's very dangerous actually. We probably pushed up a bit further than we should have. There's another howitzer over here we've got to watch out for. So yeah, I should have sent units out to have a look out there before I moved that tank up. So as you can see, you can actually screw yourself over really quickly by not you know, covering your tanks. That could have ended very badly. Keep healing these guys. I'm going to pull these guys back actually because they're copping unnecessary losses. I'm going to pull him back too. Ooh, cop that. So I don't actually have any artillery to deal with that gun. So what I'm going to have to do is try and come at it from here because I'm protected by that house. I have sent these guys up here. The idea is they're going to get shots on and clear this side for me so I can move up over here and actually assault from here and I'm protected from where that gun is. So use your map to your advantage. Bringing these guys up, they were just going to support, but now they may actually end up being the main thrust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to halve these units. And I'm going to throw these guys up. They're going to cover these guys' advance. And what I can actually do, because he's just lying in here, is throw a few grenades over there, say hello. Fire on that dude. So that's actually firing on me now, here. What I'm going to do is throw a couple of smoke grenades. Actually, I'm going to run these guys out. So not having the LARG has actually cost me because I should be able to just bring the LARG up here, pop a shot, happy days, but I can't do that. So, gotta be a bit careful with our units. A minute. I'll bring these all up together. Push them in here. Push these guys around here. And yeah, we're just taking it nice and slow. Nothing too drastic. Keep moving. So I need to get to that. So I could actually probably push from here as well. So if I run up here, should be able to just lob a grenade over. I'll also send these boys up. They're pretty comfortable in there, so I'm not going to move them. So there is an enemy there. Still, we've got to watch out for. Get down so we know there's another emplacement. So you got to watch out for these. What we can actually do, potentially, is lob a grenade at it. So 2 clicks. We'll try another one. Make sure it's cleared. Sit them back up. I'm going to get these guys to throw a bunch of nades. Another thing smoke. So they will get back on the emplacements, so you got to watch out for that. Make sure you're destroying them. So I've managed to take that field gun, which is nice. What I can now do, jump on it myself. So now, I actually have a field gun in my disposal. I can sell that later as well for extra points. Very handy. So we're going to send these boys out. Oh, no, we're not, because they just got back on the gun. And we're going to destroy that gun again. We'll kill the dude off of it. Now we'll push these guys out. So you can, I didn't even need a lot of the units I had. I just kind of threw them in there just for the sake of it. But you can actually get by without heaps and heaps of units. So we'll keep moving these guys up. These forces here we can push up, hopefully push in through here. And now that we've dealt with a lot of that stuff, we can actually bring our tank up. So we'll do that. As you can see, it's still taking me 20 minutes playing, you know, slowly and methodically. Let's slow you down. Heal. Now my tank's coming, so I'm going to push that straight up the road and come at them through here. So, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to use this building to my advantage. So make sure you're using buildings to your advantage, and just, you know, the terrain in general. I'm going to put a whole bunch of soldiers in there, so they can get shots on them. That is the idea there. This is going to come up. These guys are going to move. Happy days. You can see how it's all coming along for me. Hold up there, don't go too close, because there could be an OT gun back here. They could throw, you know, something at me. And let's grab... I probably don't need them. Won't bother. I was going to grab some more units and bring them up, but it's all good. We'll push in, assault the position, if you will. Get in there, lads. We should have no problems capturing that. And there you go. So now they'll capture that. If he comes out, he'll be dead. That's fine. But you'll notice all these little white things on the map. If I enlarge it, the white V's, that's emplacements that I can take. The enemy tanks will be like giant, like my tank. If you see that, that shows a medium tank. One of those is a light tank, and 3 of those is a heavy tank. There's also a different one for self-propelled artillery. It's like a circle with like a line coming up. But what you want to be doing is grabbing, so this soldier here, and putting him on this emplacement. So that way I take it back with me, and I can sell it for, or I can use it if I want. I prefer not to use them because I feel like it takes the realism out. So I sell them and buy, you know, German equipment for the Germans. But it is good to jump on them and grab them and take them with you for resupplying purposes, if you don't want to use them like I don't. He hasn't done much, but you will find that having guys out on your flanks like that will save you. If you've got artillery popping off back here constantly, as I said, they will rush you with tanks. So something to watch out for. As I said, if you want, you can, you know, grab your units one by one, refill their bandages, give them extra grenades, you know, a shovel to build a foxhole. So while you're waiting around, I like to be doing this. In a second, it'll say finish game, and you can either continue. So if I press continue, it'll let me. It's lagging, apologies. So as you can see, I'll just cut off before the menu, but we killed 54 infantry. They killed 4 of ours. So taking care of our men worked in our favour. We killed 1 vehicle of theirs. They didn't kill any of ours. So quite handy. Best player, General Sheba. Go me. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy to read. But yeah, so if you ever want to have a look at your units, see what's what, this is the little menu you'll do it in. So we're back into the menu. So this screen will pop up once you finish the game. And you can actually have a look at your kind of game results, units, etc. So you can see how much XP I collected, what I got for it. So, 10 research points, 100 ammo, 1 of those support stars, and 625 reinforce points. Game result, so it shows how many I killed, 54, and how many of mine died, 4. So we did very well in keeping our units alive. Took out 1 vehicle, they lost 1 vehicle. Resources used, so they had double ours. Units, so what we kind of brought out by the looks of it. So brought that out in 13 seconds, brought that out at 4:06. It's a bit of an odd screen, I think. Yeah, weird. Then you got detail, so it shows you what units killed, like how many they killed. So the Panzer III got 22 kills, 1 vehicle kill. So that was that was our most important unit. These 7 riflemen killed 16. And then it's just got the rifleman on their own. He killed 3 by himself, 2. That's his score. This is their combat effectiveness. So our tank was only 95% effective, even though it did so well. But this Ron MG assistant was 312% effective. So do with that what you will. Then you got the history. So what happened? So obviously most of it was me killing them. And then you got flag captured. So yeah, then we get into this. So first thing I like to do is sell off the enemy equipment. So we've got the Browning here, 3.7 millimeter gun, 75 mil infantry gun. I will then resupply my units. So I'll just go resupply all. Bang. And now I am basically ready to fight again. You'll see select mission. You have to defend this one that we just did. It is actually a different map, but defense, you don't get a choice. You have to defend the one. So you won't even have to go into this to change your map. Research tree. For my first defense, I always like to go small defenses for the same reasons I said earlier. If you watch the original part of the video. Field engineer, because the engineers are awesome. AP and AT miners are free, as are the flamer, so I grab them. AT miners, are awesome. Make sure you're using them on those main roads. They will help you a lot. Now, if I was doing this, so mortars are quite handy for defending your position. As for artillery, I like the 10 centimeter SK-18. I think that is the best artillery in the game, so I go for it pretty quickly. Obviously, you don't need it in a defense as much early on. You will use them a lot more later, but I tend to like them more for offensive purposes, but that is the best artillery. I've done a German artillery guide, so make sure you check that out. If I were you guys, I would probably just be, as a newer player, just roll through the tanks, because you want to get to the Panzer IV Aus F2, because that gun is the first gun that can deal with the KV-1s and that half effectively. They still struggle at times, but you want something like the Panzer IV Aus F2 to deal with the KV-1s, T-34s when they come at you. You obviously can go for the Stugs and that, but obviously no turret makes them harder to use. The Panzer, same, no turret. Marder, no turret. Obviously a glass cannon as well, so yeah. Rush for that Panzer IV Aus F2. I'll research that. But yeah, that is the gist of it. For your first defense, just make sure you're using your engineers, set up defenses, make sure you got your medics with you, AT miners important, get that first small defenses, so you get the AI spotting for you, and it can kind of give you a hint of where the enemy's coming from. As I said, there'll be sandbags around the flags. Generally where they're pointing is where the enemy's going to attack you from, but they will flank you from left and right. But yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you lads on the next one. Let me know if there's any other guides you guys want to see, and I will get onto them as soon as possible. Cheers.